Yo, what's going on, boys? How you doing? Nils, Carson, Yash, Mo. Mo's in here. What? I thought Mo wasn't here today. Gurvinder, Gurvesh, CG Fit, Guggins here, Sean's here. Yash, what's going on, boys? No, we're not. We're not listening to Sidhu Moosewala here. So here we go. We'll start off with SPY. Very, very bullish action here, in my opinion, today. Despite the daily candle, it's not that great. I mean, it's just like it looks like a doji kind of. Is that even right? What kind of candle is that? Yeah, so the daily candle just looks sideways all day. We got a huge bounce off the lows that we had last week. We nailed puts here, jump back in calls, and we've been nailing everything so far. Let's see. Right now it's in no man's land. You see it's right in the middle of the channel. Could go up, could go down either way here. The RSI is still in nothing. RSI isn't telling us anything. Stochastics are curling up, which means the most likely move is up. But other than that, look at the volume today. There's no volume on SPY at all today. And if you look intraday, we opened today at 447.96. We closed today at 447.95. So we moved a grand total of 1 penny on SPY today. After all that action, after all those calls, we hit everything. SPY moved 1 penny. But the thing I was telling you guys about small caps, me and Goldman Sachs were having a discussion intraday. If you guys noticed, he agreed with me what I've been saying. Every time that SPY pulls back like that, let's go out on the daily. Jesus Christ. All right, so we're going to pull out on IWM. We're going to look at these bounces here, right? So look at SPY. The last 3 bounces, we bounced down to the bottom of the channel, right? So we'll do the last 2 just to be simple. June 18th and July 19th and August 19th, okay? So just remember those dates. We'll go to IWM here. June 18th was the first one. Right about here. So look how much IWM rallied off that low right there. When SPY bottomed, IWM rallied for 5 days straight. It moved from 221 all the way to 233. So $12 move. Whereas SPY on June 18th, well, that one rallied hard. But yeah, so it moved 414 to 434. Okay, so SPY had a bigger rally there. But you guys know what I mean. Look at the next one right here. July 19th, SPY bottom. IWM July 19th right here. Big move up, right? Big 3 days. We had a 1.5% day, 3.1% day, and a 1.72% day. July 19th here, we had a 1.43. And you guys get the message. Like, so when SPY bottoms, you want to find the ones that's going to lead us up and lead us down. And so far this year, IWM has been leading us up, leading us down. And if you guys noticed something very important last year during March COVID days scares or whatever the hell they're called, during March, what happened was IWM actually started dropping before SPY, so it gave us a little precursor and showed us what could happen on SPY. So that's why I chose IWM to be the strongest. If the market wants to rally back to all-time highs here, which it did, IWM would get the biggest 3 days. The biggest 3-day move, and that's exactly what happened. And right now, SPY, we're sitting at all-time highs. If the market wants to go even higher, IWM has to rally and get past this 50-day moving average, which has been rejecting since July 13th. So keep an eye on small caps. I think small caps will determine where this market is going. Other than that, I mean, we closed at 447.95, which is the highest close in SPY's history so far, 447.95. Today was all-time high close. QQQ, let's just change this up back. QQQ, so same thing, kind of just closed within that pre-market range that we opened in. Daily looks fine, we're all-time highs again. This is setting up to be a melt-up, which we were calling before. We just got to go with, we just got to go with the flow. You can't really predict too many things. You can have a little lean towards which side you're going to, but right now I just see everyone on Twitter, everyone online, they're still bearish. And as long as there's people that are perma-bears, they're going to get squeezed out before this market drops. In my opinion, I've seen it happen in the past. It'll happen in the future again. QQQ, 4 straight days up. And look at this rip from the last bottom. We had 4, 5, 6 days straight up on QQQ last time we bottomed. SPY last time we bottomed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days straight up. This time we only had 3, and people are getting bearish already because they know the pattern. They know what's happening, right? They don't know the full story though. That's the thing. XLF looks very strong. Still just consolidating just under all-time highs. We have that range now built from 38 239, and we just want to stay inside this range. Let's see if we can make if XLF makes its way back up to 39, SPY will stay very strong. SPY will not dump if XLF is strong. SPY will not dump if QQQ is strong. SPY will only dump if they're both weak, and right now they're both very, very strong. QQQ at all-time high, XLF I just showed you, we're still in that range, the upper range. So let's go over some plays from yesterday. And like I said, IWM, keep an eye on IWM. It is key for this market right now. If IWM starts rolling over, this market will roll over as well. In my opinion, this does look like a topping pattern, but you can't really time the top, you know what I mean? So just keep an eye out for IWM as long as it holds these levels. The must-hold level is Thursday's low. When we bottomed out on Thursday at 210.68, if we get under 210.68, I think that's game over in my opinion. Let's see what happens. Right now, the 200-day is at 214.64, so I don't really want to lose 214.64 either, but the complete line in the sand is 210.68. Jumia, we took Jumia yesterday based on technicals. We had that hammer candle reversal put in. We got that huge gap up. Everyone in the morning, congratulations. That played it yesterday. You had like 140, 160, 100, I seen 150%. Everyone that took profits, congratulations. Everyone that didn't take profits, you're greedy and you deserve to lose. No, I'm just kidding. But I still have some Jumia that I'm holding into tomorrow. It still looks good to me. Like I said, small caps are set to rally. We closed above the 8-day moving average. The next resistance for me on Jumia isn't until $20.14. Very possible we see over $20 this week, and that's why I'm holding half my position still. And we'll see where we open up on it tomorrow. ZM took a little dump today. Obviously, this morning we had news that you can't really predict news, right? So the news came out this morning that someone said Delta cases have peaked in the USA, which means what? Which means money comes out of COVID plays and goes back into reopening plays. You guys want an example? That's a reopening play right there. AirBNB moved from 146 this morning all the way to 162 almost. So that's, oh my God, yeah. So huge move on Airbnb, huge move on a bunch of airlines, huge move on CCL, air cruise lines. Meme stocks started running today. This is the most bullish action I've seen in a long time in the market, which is why I decided to hold a bunch of stuff overnight. Now I could be wrong. We could get a gap down tomorrow and I could get screwed. But the way I seen the action today, everything was running together. Everything looked great. This is very, very bullish action. Don't overthink it. Zoom, I'm still in Zoom. Why am I still in Zoom? We have earnings coming up next week. I don't care. COVID is still a thing. Even if it peaked, COVID is still a thing. Everyone is still using Zoom. Australia and New Zealand are on lockdown. Well, how are they communicating through Zoom, right? So we got my favorite setup. Again, we got a retest of the previous resistance. Now, this could form a head and shoulders and roll over. But before it rolls over, it's got to form that right shoulder. So even if it is forming that head and shoulders on this resistance, we'll get another pop for the shoulder, in my opinion, where we can start scaling out. Plus, the earnings catalyst might give a run-up day. Okay, so just be aware of that. But other than that, Zoom, I'm not worried about at all. We're sitting right on top of this huge volume shelf. Huge resistance turns support, so everything looks like this was an inflection point. If we rolled over here, that would have been a big problem for Zoom, but we held it and we bounced 2 days in a row. Today looks like we rejected the 8-day moving average. If we can close above 345 tomorrow, I'll be very, very confident in this Zoom play. AirBNB, just an absolute ripper. I've seen so many hedge funds were saying they're loading up AirBNB at those prices down here. Today was definitely institutional buying. If you look at the volume this morning, this is not retail buying right here. This is hedge funds and institutions buying AirBNB. End of the day, more buying. And just super, super strong, like all day. Didn't even flinch at all. Just went up, straight up, consolidated, and then just continued to grind up. So AirBNB, look for continuation there. Next level for AirBNB is a far way away. So, I mean, this close was amazing. Next level, I would say, is around 175. We can have a move. But today, obviously, we had that big spike, lots of buying. The stochastics still say we can go much further up. The RSI is getting up there in overbought territory. So it might need some consolidation to let the moving averages catch up, or it might just continue higher. But this thing is very, very bullish right now, and I'm very bullish on Airbnb. BNTX, huge dump to start the day. Yesterday, we had a huge day. Rejected my fib at 384.61, closed underneath it, and just stayed in this range right here. So we closed above 366.23, I believe. Yes, we closed at 368, so we're still in between these two fibs. That's all we have to watch for now. We have to watch which way is it going to break. Is it going to close below 366 or is it going to close above 385? That'll determine the short-term direction for BNTX. I'm still in some of those calls. So another thing I wanted to go over is that trade I did on BNTX. So yesterday, obviously, I paid $11 for those $400 calls. I couldn't have known that that news was coming, that Delta peaked. Just from everyone that I know saying that hospitals are full, wait times are so long. Like somebody told me they waited 10 hours to see a doctor yesterday. So I thought vaccines were still in play. Got that news today. They bought the dip on it, which is very good. So we closed in between there. We just have to see if we get follow through to the upside or the downside. At 366, must close above. 385, if we get above, then we're still bullish on these vaccine names here. Twitter, let's go over Twitter. Was a piece of something today. I'm not going to say it. But yeah, so the reason I played Twitter was this weekly inverse head and shoulders, as I sent in the premium group. Just absolutely beautiful shoulder, head, shoulder, and looks like we're going right back up to resistance. But what I liked is I thought we would get a move similar to this April 5th move here. Why? Because we consolidated straight down and it looked like we bounced off nothing and then we moved 12% in a day. It's the same thing. We moved straight down, bounced off nothing, and I thought we would get a 12% week right up to resistance. So let's see what happens tomorrow. I mean, Twitter can still go. Today's action was not too promising, but we did hold this vol. What is this line? This is a big resistance. I have this drawn out from somewhere. Maybe it was just intraday. Yeah, it was just intraday, okay. So intraday, I just had the demand zone here. Every time we came down here, it bounced. So that's where I drew out those yellow lines. But we did close below it. So let's see tomorrow. We need to close above 64.11 for these lottos to still work. I will probably get out of these tomorrow. There's big buying at the end, whatever, blah, blah. If we get over 64.20-ish on Twitter, we can see a big move still on these lottos. So I'm still holding some of them. Obviously, we did take profits yesterday. We always teach you guys to take profits. PFE, just huge dump, big sell the news, very obvious. Why did I take those November calls? So I took them up here when PFE was at the 8-day moving average. It was holding above there. So I like that it held above there, so I took the November calls. Why did I take November calls? I read an article last night that says the FDA approval on PFE was on Monday, but what FDA told PFE was they have to submit documents for their side effects and for their vaccine use in children. Like, what are the effects? What are the side effects? And they don't have to do that till October 31st. That's why I rolled into November's. I already have a ton of profits from last time playing PFE with you guys. You guys remember that? We crushed that trade the first time. And this time, it closed below the 8-day moving average, which I don't like. If you look at the weekly, it's very, very extended. But my play was made on the daily based on every single time it touched the 8-day moving average or got close to it, it bounced. So let's see tomorrow if we can gap up and go above 48.65. We need closes above 48.65 tomorrow to remain bullish on this. And if it doesn't work, we have till November. So I'm not really worried about this one at all. Match, beautiful chart. G. Dougal showed me this one, so thank you for that. Huge support here at 129.68, 130 level. Huge, huge support. Every time it bounced from there, it got a huge follow through, right? So 3 days ago, we were talking about it in the group. Kind of flagged out down here. I don't really like how it flagged. I wanted it just to hit and bounce, but obviously just tricked us. No selling volume at all buyers since we hit that support, and we've been gapping up ever since. This one has a chance. If it closes above 142.78, which is a 21-day, it can move straight back up to the 50-day moving average at 153. So keep an eye on match. Everyone's online Tinder anyways. I know you guys all pay for it. ATAI, this is one I've been watching for a few days. I never got an entry on this one yet. This is a newer company. It's on psychedelics, and you guys know the buzz around psychedelics right now. They might legalize them. So I'm watching this one very closely. It's a solid company. I'm just waiting for the right entry. Right now, it's too big of a bounce. I didn't want to take it. I want to see if it pulls back to the moving averages so I can get a better entry here. But I really do like this company, and I think they will go up a lot in the future. GRWG, awful earnings. Broke every single support. So I took it off my screen for a little bit. Yesterday I started looking at it again because I thought growth and weed names would bounce, which they did. And we had this huge support here. Let me draw it out for you guys. It was a weekly support. There's it right there. And that earnings reaction just wiped it out. So right now we're just in no man's land kind of on GRWG, but we did get a wicked bounce here. We're getting a little rounded bottom. Let's see it. We closed above the 8-day moving average. Next level is over that huge resistance. Why is there two lines here? Yeah, so this is just this used to be the demand zone. Now there's going to be supply here. So there's going to be people selling within 33.57 to this upper level here. And if we clear this, then we can make it right back into the wedge and keep going. But weed stocks, I am bullish on right now. I expect that federal legalization to happen any time now, but I've been saying that for a while, so who knows. Alibaba, people complaining about Alibaba today. It only gave you 22 points in 2 days, you greedy. It's like 152 was the low yesterday, and 174 was the high today. That's 22 points in 2 days, and people are still complaining. Okay, I'm sorry it didn't rip another 10 points. Anyone that took Baba yesterday and took profits this morning is not mad at all at Baba. Anyone that was greedy and didn't take profits, they're mad at Baba. So Baba looks great. China looks like it's reversing. Another thing on Baba is that it is kind of, yeah, I don't really see a pattern on it. But it looks like we bottomed out. Remember what I told you guys? When you see a ton of volume near a low, like a complete flush out, a ton of volume, that usually signals capitulation. That usually signals that the bottom is in. Just like here. You can take a look at any chart. Whenever there's a big bottom or like a big flush and a big bottom, there's usually a huge volume down there. So right now we're getting that huge volume. All the sellers are dried out. That means there's no one left to sell. Who the hell is going to sell Baba at 155, right? So all the sellers dried out and now there's only buyers present. So let's see if we can get follow through here on Baba. The 8-day moving average is at 171.43. We closed above the 8-day moving average. The next level up is the 8-day moving average, which is at 183.74. So there's still possible 16 points left to go in Baba if it doesn't make that move. Let's see. It could also be a dead cat bounce. Don't quote me on that. That it's going to go up only. It could be a dead cat bounce. By dead cat bounce, it means like we're just way oversold on the daily. We were oversold on the weekly. Like I pointed out in the group, Baba has never been weekly oversold before. It was the first time last week, and we're having a big bounce. We could bounce 10, 15 more points and then just dump to newer lows. It's definitely possible. Don't get too excited, but play the trend as it is. ASTS, I took Leaps for February today. Why did I take it? It's a space company. I've heard a lot of good things about them. I have a lot more research to do, but I do like the company from what I've read. And they have a test flight in March next year, I believe. So I'm expecting a run up into February. So why I took the February calls. They were priced good as well. And the weekly chart just tells me that it's ready to bounce. Like we got this huge run up and now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks down straight, right? So I'm watching this weekly chart for a bounce. Let's see if we can get back to these moving averages even. Even if we bounce quick to these moving averages, those calls will go up a lot. And expecting big things from them. ES, nothing really. PDD. So PDD, I jumped in lottos at the end of the day. Again, another Chinese company. Everyone was asking me, should I play JD? Should I play Baba? I said, no, PDD moves the most. PDD went up 22% today. And at the end of the day, when it was already up 20-ish%, I seen two people. I don't know if it was two people, two hedge funds, whatever. One person put 1.08 million into $101 lottos. One person put 1.14 million into 101 lottos, and that was just enough for me. I seen it. I hit the ask at 218. They closed green, so let's see what happens tomorrow. I'm expecting follow through, especially when people are putting 2 million into lottos out of the money. I mean, there's a good chance it goes up, right? So I bought those PDD lottos as well. CrowdStrike, huge up, massive day. Look at this volume. Gapped up. We had an 8% day on one of the biggest stocks. And look at, I already had these lines drawn out. This is the supply zone. So there's a lot of shares that people are selling within this range of 258 to 269.50. And as you can see here, it's very, very hard for it to get through it before. Let's see if we can get through it now. Thursday morning, this will be trading on the NASDAQ. So that's another catalyst for it. I love it as a company. I just think it's really extended and it's really hard for me to buy up here. Especially when I bought it at 60 bucks back here. I bought it at 60 bucks. I sold it at 100 bucks and I thought I was a genius. And now it's at 268. So I'm not a genius. And yeah, we're just chilling all-time highs here. Let's see if we can get through 269.50 with some volume. It can keep going straight to 300. It could reject here and come right back down. Let's see what happens. The QQ addition to NASDAQ is a big thing. What did I miss here? Hello, new guy. What's up, 1010? What's up, Oscar? Mr. Black's here, Danish is here, Brian's here, Elizabeth is here. What's up, guys? Welcome. Papa Ganush is here. Tesla. Okay, so Tesla. We have a lot of lines drawn on Tesla. It's going to be a messy chart. Okay, so you guys remember the weekly chart I posted in the group a couple of weeks ago. Sometimes weekly moves take long, right? So look at this huge wedge breakout, and huge wedge. Let's see, this is the biggest wedge of them all, so we might get the biggest breakout, right? So that's what we were watching. The level that I was watching after the breakout was 726 or 725.50, 726 level. That's where all the supply was. So if we get through that 725, 725.50, 726 level, we will fly on Tesla, in my opinion. And right now, we completely rejected it the first time we were up there. Came back down, retested the wedge, which is super, super bullish. And then we've just been up ever since. Today, we closed above this little demand zone I had as well. So Tesla looks good for a gap up and go tomorrow. But the biggest number, the only number that matters to the top, to the upside on Tesla is 725.50. If we close above 725.50, this thing's going to rocket, in my opinion. I'll go over Clove, and then I got to go for a meeting. This was T's play. It was basically on the memes, I'm sure. It's just a bottoming out meme play. It's ripping. Nothing really to say chart-wise. If memes keep going, Clove keeps going. If memes don't go, then Clove gets destroyed again. We've all traded Clove in the past. You guys seen my screenshot before. I had like 4 different positions all up 1,000%. So if this thing does get going, I'll be in it with you guys. But for right now, it still has a lot to prove to me. There's a huge resistance here at 945. So not close over 945. I think I will jump in Clove as well. But before that, I'm not getting in. I don't trust it. Let's see what happens. AMC, same thing, man. AMC, GME, Clove, Wish, Workhorse, all these stocks, they're going to move exactly the same. If it's meme stock squeeze time, then they're all going to squeeze. If it's time to kill them and just suck people in, they're all going to die out. So AMC looks a little bit better than Clove, just had a bigger day, 20% day, big volume coming in. Other than that, I mean, just they closed above the 50-day. Everything looks bullish on AMC. It looks like a bullish reversal. But it is a meme stock. Take your profits quick. Don't get stuck holding the bag like everyone on Wall Street bets. And thank you guys for attending. I'll see you tomorrow.